poetry. That's my most private, personal truth. Because really you can only talk about that in poetry, I think. What are some common Enlightenment truths across religions? Well, as it happens, I just taught this year-long course on enlightenments, plural, which I really enjoyed. It was based on an earlier text I wrote called Enlightenments. I taught it with Satyen Raja. It was a really good in-depth course. If you really want to know like the full gold standard answer to that question, you know, do the course. It's still available on the internet and will be in perpetuity. You can watch it. Or you can just read my book, which is an earlier version of that, called Enlightenments. Just Google Enlightenments. And I'm the first guy to put the S at the end of Enlightenment. I'm saying Enlightenment isn't just one thing. Obviously, there are many paths to Enlightenment, so let's study comparatively Enlightenments, plural. Coming to the end now, what would I say to someone who says that violence is part of human nature? I would agree, yes, it is. I'm very interested in anthropology. You know, I'm watching Chimp Nation, like millions of us, and yeah, chimps, we have this violence in us, and that's part of the DNA heritage that we hominids, Homo sapiens, inherit. But I think we're more on the bonobo line, personally. We prefer to love than make war. And I think that violence can be transmuted into knowledge and wisdom, and that we can transmute violence into the desire to know the other rather than killing them. You know, if only God, you know, if only Putin had sent a team of academics to go and study Ukrainian culture and history, and like anthropologists to say, why do you want to be a separate nation? I thought you were Russian. And they came back with like hours of recordings and publications and realised, no, this is interesting actually. These Ukrainians really want to be a separate thing called Ukrainian. I mean, let's do knowledge work instead of violence, and we'll get further and faster. Do I think science kind of mimics religion in any way? I think they coexist like the right and left leg of a human. Science works methodically. It's a bit of a plodder. It works, you know, by proving and all that. I'm a great fan of Bacon and Baconian method. I'm a great fan of, you know, the mysteries around Francis Bacon. But I think that it also works through inspirational leaps, and some of the greatest scientific discoveries are made in dreams, in intuitive leaps, and that's when the unconscious is working away. So I think there are many mysteries that science hasn't yet fully understood. And I'm a great believer in scientific method, and I'm applying it to religious studies. But I also think it works both ways. I think we need to apply spiritual, mystical and religious insight to science. They can have a conversation. That's what I'm trying to do in my book on religious maths. Deepak Chopra wrote a book saying each person is the entire universe. I think the book's called You Are the Universe. What do I think about that idea? Are there any religions that think that? Yes, there are. They all do, actually. I mean, it's called the microcosm and macrocosm theory. And all the religions have a form of this. The Hermetic traditions, Greek Neoplatonism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity. I mean, each of us is the individual, the specific incarnation that we are, but we are also the cosmic mind. You know, there's the Geist, as Hegel calls it, that incarnates into the individual. So we're paradoxically the all and you know, and the one individual at the same time. And the religions are a map or a guide for us how to connect up religio, the individual that thinks of themselves as just, well, I'm just me, you know, I'm born in such and such, I'm just Thomas, to the cosmic consciousness that is my actual root source and for all of us. And that's what the religios do, and it's what the philosophies do. So yeah, Deepak's good at packaging ideas and getting them out there. Bless him. But yes, all the religions really say that. The Kabbalah says it in Judaism, absolutely. You know, the individual is all the Sephirot in one. The tree of life is in me. from Keter, my mind down to Malkut, the kingdom on which I walk. And each of us is the microcosm of the tree of life, which is why we're made in the image of God. God is the absolute, the all, which is imageless and unspeakable. Can't say his name, but it individuates in a human form, which is the tree of life made manifest as one individual. And that's a beautiful thing. It's amazing. Isn't life incredible? Who'd have thought it? Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's the end of the questions. Thank you so much for those questions, and I hope you enjoyed the Philosophy Club tonight. Yeah.